but these seas are going up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up for me. Nothing but up. The legs are going up, a prayer's lifted up, a pressure burning up, your term is running up, nature going up, ancestors rising up. Thought we were buried, but these seas are going up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up.
I'm thankful
Nothing but up for me.
that y'all have been,
But up.
rocking with us throughout this time, and I'm excited to get into this with y'all. All right, we're live on YouTube as well as Instagram. I appreciate you joining us, brother. I'm gonna take a moment, I guess, to continue giving thanks and honor to all the energy that we've been putting into this book club, uh, the businesses that are starting to manifest from it. Uh, I mean, it's been helpful for me, and been saying that it's been helpful for them. So, just what's good, big bro? How you doing? Uh, getting back into the meeting. Unfortunately. There we go. How you doing, brother?
I- I'm back. Yeah, they trying to double dutch roll me, man. I'm jumping in and out, but yeah, just echoing, double tapping what you said, bro. This has been a journey. I'm so grateful to be here, man, with you and everybody else.
Yeah, bro. I'm glad you're out there and getting nature too. Like that's important.
Yeah, trying to switch it up sometimes, man. This was a rough week for me energetically, man.
Mm,
So I just want to touch on it. That a lot of things are going to be manifested, just like during birth, pregnancy.
mm,
It's always tough time. See the women, the mothers, our queens going through skin breakouts, different type of emotional reactions to the pregnancy. That's the birthing process.
mm,
So I feel like we all going through that. I'm sharing that with people that might have gone through that. This was a real rough week for me energetically.
mm.
Just trying to stay balanced and navigate, but just having the foresight and communicating with the ancestors. They saying we going through the process.
Mm.
And at the end of this, we're going to see a new Oakland, a new black economy, and a new country, for real. So I appreciate everybody doing this work, and much love to the king right here, my brother. You know what I'm saying? Super much love.
Much love, authentic African. We doing it, y'all. We definitely doing it. Do you remember what Mazen at Holistic Underground was talking about? Monkey mind and trouble at the border.
Yeah.
That's what it is, right? It's like when you're about to bring something to life, it gets harder. That's just the way it works because you got to push it from the immaterial into the material, right?
I should. Shout out Holistic Underground for the work that they're doing with us, too.
Mm-hmm.
Doing a lot of that, taking the war out of our words with ourselves.
Yep.
That's what's up. Monkey mind. God dang it. Yeah, monkey mind.
So I'm gonna open this up today with taking the war out of our words. with Sharon Strand Ellison before we get into our Collective Courage book. And so this week we've been talking about the tools of non-defensive communication. We talked about the question a bit and how the nature of it is to be curious and open, innocent, neutral, and inviting. And the function of it is primarily to gather information. And we talked a little bit about how we often use questions to give information, like giving people our opinion through a question that's not quite a question. We also yesterday talked a bit about statements. And the nature of statements in nonviolent communication should be open and vulnerable, direct, subjective, and descriptive. And the function is to provide information. We talked about how, like, when we bring war into our words, it doesn't make sense to be open and vulnerable because that leaves us open to attack, but how, like, that's actually how we get through and like get where we're trying to go by being open and like letting folks know where we're at. And today, I want to introduce us to this concept of predictions. The nature of these are supposed to be protective and foretelling, neutral, definitive, firm, dual in nature. Their function is to provide security through predictability. And so I was reading through this one, trying to figure out how I could synthesize this chapter for us. And like, honestly, we could spend this whole 30 minutes talking about it. But next week we're going to be like talking a bunch about like, how do we the function of how we use these. But I did like pull up a few different points that I want to bring our attention to. The first is right here. It says the guidelines for implementing a predicted consequence. And it's saying that we want to respond in a timely manner, respond without discussion, avoid bargaining after implementing the consequence, maintaining firmness if the person's initial response is intimidating, and following through with thoroughly and consistently. And so the thing that Sharon Strand Ellison talks about inside of this book is that when we're making predictions, we want to make sure that they are something that we can live with. And so we don't want to say things that, aren't true for us or that, we can't move forward with. And I'm going to start at the beginning because this story is how she frames everything for us. And so she says, this is chapter 11, formats for making non-defensive predictions. And so Sharon Strand Ellison starts by saying, when Sandra predicted that she wouldn't take care of Jake's financial blunders if he continued to write checks she didn't know about, she didn't know about, she wanted to spare herself the embarrassment of dealing with the bank. She felt particular chagrin because she was a professional bookkeeper married to the owner of the company. Yet, making a prediction for another person, particularly when we prescribe consequences that we will initiate, can feel like an overwhelming responsibility. Her prediction opened the door to several possible consequences that could have a major impact on their marriage. Jake might hire a bookkeeper and incur an additional but unnecessary cost to his business. In that case, Sandra might lose whatever control she had over the finances, which might or might not please her. Or, if Jake did nothing different, he might seriously jeopardize his financial standing and his business's reputation. Sandra was aware that increased conflict could be the final blow that caused a divorce. At the same time, if she did nothing, she would continue to deal with increasingly intolerable stress. The kind of prediction Sandra finally used was limit setting. When we make a prediction to set a limit or create a boundary, we predict specifically how we will respond to various choices the other person might make. Limit setting is the most common form of prediction. The second kind of prediction is a challenge choice. In this case, we predict for someone what kinds of consequences we believe will result in the person's life if certain choices are made. This challenges the person to consider the choices carefully. However, we do not do anything to cause specific consequences. Um, and like so, I think you can see like it sounds good in theory, and it feel like to me it feels hard. Like I feel like I would use the predictions and like a warlike mentality, which is why I was feeling like we really need to like know exactly what she's saying in this book to use this tool effectively. And what I was saying, like it could be like the whole day, um, or the whole workshop. You know what I mean?
Yeah, already.
Um, so when selecting consequences, let's see. I'm sorry. Yeah, how is this resonating for you, Ted?
Man, it's on point, man. I'm just thinking to myself, like, is it a way that we can offer some type of space, even now, like for this type of group therapy or group work? Because I swear, I hope we're taking notes. Because I sure am. Every week, I have something that I catch, and I have a decision at that point that either, exercise what I learned or stay in my ignorance. And it's challenging for me at first, to step on like knowing that I've been wrong with reacting this way, and let me try a different way, and it kind of hurts me. I have a certain kind of personality. It hurts me, but at the end, I see it helps my relationship with this individual or this person or this collective.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, I hope everybody's having the same reflections. Or you guys can share what you guys are experiencing, taking some of the war out of your words. How does that feel for you? What about you, brother? Are you pretty much, do you have all the war out of your words, or are you kind of finding yourself exercising things?
I don't think I do have all the war out of my words. And I feel like this prediction one like feels like particularly like yeah, I don't like I feel like I can't use it yet, so I can't like teach it fully yet, you know? Like I can't like walk through like, hey, this is how I've used this because I don't think that I use this kind of tool very well. And she talks about how like in a non-defensive way that's like focused on ourselves and the consequences that we can like take on. Um, and also she talks about how um, we make unconscious predictions or like the actions we make have repercussions, whether or not we're consciously making predictions. And there was uh, she talked about how like if we like act in a certain way and um, you know like we say one thing and do another thing, then for the other person they may consciously or unconsciously think like, okay, like if I do this then they're gonna do that. I'm sorry, bro. I feel like a little inadequate in this particular section to be completely.
No, that's a great walkthrough, though.
Yeah.
You know,
But,
that's a great walk.
yeah. So this week and next week, I feel like definitely gonna. Well, not next week actually, because next week we're gonna have a bunch of like the women who have been joining, doing
Yeah,
co-hosting with us, and so it probably won't be next week. But we are gonna like be putting this stuff up on our page, so we can get the information out sooner. And yeah, I'll be kind of curating those posts, so that they have that stuff in it.
appreciate that.
Yeah, bro. All right, so last day of chapter 6. Chapter
Wow,
chapter 6, collective courage.
Nisha says it's way easier to give advice than to follow it. Doesn't mean you can't teach it.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. But like, I guess personally, I teach best when I'm like living that or when I'm doing it, and so I want to like, yeah, I guess I want to be at my best for y'all rather than like, you know. But thank you. I definitely agree. Like, you don't necessarily. It is way easier to give advice than to follow it, and I trust the people that follow their advice when they give it the most.
Okay.
All right, so we on page 144. Going through page 147, collective courage today. We got Tut out in the sunshine. Air. I hope y'all are getting some air as well. Thank you. So page 144, we're talking about the People Consumers Cooperative, another co-op that was influenced by the Gary Consumer Co-op Trading Company, that really like sparked movements across the nation, and we're doing that cooperation among cooperatives, principle number 6, and supporting folks who came to study, helping them set up their own thing, probably sharing that 5-year plan that they created, which is why so many folks were creating credit unions and gas stations and grocery stores. And so the People Consumer Cooperative had all of the folks were members or were tenants of the same apartment complex in Chicago. And bruh, like if you look up a co-op map in Chicago, you'll find that there are a ton of housing cooperatives in Chicago. And there's a like a co-op developer that's helping get all that stuff off the ground. It's really crazy.
Man, Chicago. Shout out to everybody on the ground out there, man. That's what's up.
And that's like
Chirac.
Bruh, that's today. So like, bruh, it's just crazy how co-ops be in the open sometimes, hidden in plain sight.
Right.
All right, so
we don't know it.
Yeah, so this apartment complex had easy access to the store. They were a closely knit group of stable professionals and civil servants, mostly postal employees, who knew how to use teamwork effectively. And they were advised by J.J. Reddix, one of the founders of the Gary, Indiana Co-op, the Consumer Trading Co-op, to start with a study group. So they did that in October of 1936. And shortly after, they began organizing a buying club, starting with just one product so that they can get the hang of it, bacon. Each membership share was $3 each. And they also paid $3 a month so that two women could work half-time. And so they had a very active group who had several active committees. They had a buying committee, an auditing and bookkeeping committee, a membership committee, education committee, and a store location committee. And so it was observed that they made unusually rapid and sound progress. One of the things that I meant to mention is that it's important that they had like civil servants and folks that had stable jobs, because we've seen that like those are often the folks that are able to help with the equity portion and keeping the business afloat when it's needed. And so Mia Kosua is asking, so the buying club started with the shares. Yeah, so it's looking like they sold membership shares that were $3 each to capitalize the business. And then they were also paying money per month so that they can help people work this stuff. And so they were challenging the high cost of food that was happening in the area, and also the local chain store that was charging exorbitant prices for inferior quality of merchandise. And so they were motivated and proactive. They began a boycott of the chain store and learned more and more about co-ops. And after forming the study group in October of 36, the group was ready to open a retail grocery store in July of 1937, so less than a year later. All right, Brad, you want to do this one?
Next page.
The next paragraph.
You come on, what, Hope?
Yeah, we're at the bottom. We're at the bottom of 144. It's saying the cooperative faced a major obstacle.
Oh yeah, I see that. So the cooperative faced a major obstacle at the outset because no white real estate owners in the neighborhood would rent to it, even though there were 7 vacant stores in the immediate neighborhood. The co-op prevailed and did open the store. 2 months later, in September 1937, it also opened a credit union, which by February 1939 had 191 members with outstanding loans at $1,000 during the month of February.
That's beautiful.
Man, work. So resiliency. You know, consistently we're seeing that over and over and over. Like we have problems with the bookkeepings and, you know, people not have we're putting in what we can. We're pinching pennies, but the white oppression, man, you know, it doesn't. It never was an excuse before, so it can't be an excuse today.
Yeah.
You know.
It's just like it's super frustrating though, isn't it? Like it makes me upset a bit. But yeah, man. So where are we at?
Mia asked another question. She said, "Did they have to incorporate? And how do buying clubs transition to retail businesses?"
So depending on who the distributor is, um, you may be able to get wholesale without needing like a wholesale license or like a business entity. If you don't need like, and you could theoretically get a wholesale license without getting a business entity. But in essence, to start the buying club, you need to be able to get the wholesale, and so filling whatever requirements they have. And then you also have to figure out how the work's going to get done. And I asked one of my coworkers about employment law because I was curious about this too. And she was letting me know that since 1997, the federal government has considered that consumer cooperatives and co-ops can't receive volunteer labor, which means in essence that if we do incorporate and start volunteering to put the business into motion, then we open ourselves up to an employment lawsuit. If someone down the line who's disgruntled wants to say like, yo, I worked 100 hours and I didn't get paid for it, so you got to give me minimum wage. And so that's just something to consider. But it can be as informal as you want, or it can be, super formalized. It's all, it's all about, what you all need for the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're at the bottom where it goes into during the month of February. Members added $1,172 of new capital. Oh yeah, this is interesting. It said members were not allowed to invest more than $250 in the credit union. $250.
Yeah, a lot of co-ops do that, where they'll cap the amount of investment each investor can put in, so that they can't have like any kind of leverage, even if it's informal, for having that much money in the co-op. Because like if like let's say someone invests $1 million and everyone else invests like $1,000, like if that person threatens to pull out their money, that's going to be a bigger deal than like, if one of us threatened that, so that also is power in a way. So yeah, that I resonate with that.
Keep it equal. One member, one vote. Like everybody's power of their vote equal. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, but so cooperatives, like regularly, like in investment cooperatives, like let's say, everyone has one vote. Even if they invest more than like another person. Gotcha. But that like informal power that someone could have because they put in so much more than another person is also a thing that we might want to address or like think about, right? Because it's like, wouldn't it be true if like, we got 500 investors and we made like $2 million from those investors, but $1 million came from one investor and $1 million came from 499 other investors? Wouldn't it make a difference if that one investor was like, I don't like what you're doing, or if you don't hire this person, I'm pulling out my money? Like that's definitely going to make a difference, because you have to respond to it whether or not like you think it's a good idea for them to do that.
No question. Yeah. So they put that stipulation in place to keep financials, like everybody at the same buy-in level, so nobody has more of an invested interest in the other person financially.
Right.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Right. We're seeing like that by the end of February, 16 members had reached the maximum savings. In 1938, the co-op added a meat market, doubled the size of its store, and increased sales from $1,750 to $4,267. Wow, that's like a 4 times increase. Hey, bless up, Michael. Thank you for joining, bro. At the end of '98, the People Consumers Co-op declined. They decided not to distribute a dividend of 1% of the value of the sales to members. Oh, I'm sorry. They voted to distribute a dividend of 1% of the
Yeah.
value of the sales to the members. And the remaining of the surplus was divided between an education fund and an expansion and protection fund. Wow.
Huh.
Bruh, like, see, we need to be thinking this long term, bruh. Like, not only are they thinking about expansion, but in case, like, some folks come doing some stuff that is, I would consider immoral, like, we got money to handle that too.
Righteous.
Yeah.
Righteous. That's why they came up with all them committees, you know, so people can share the share the bulk of the work. You know, you're thinking about protection. I'm thinking about, you know, goods and services. Somebody's handling the finances. That's the benefits of a co-op, man. You know, everybody can do a little bit of everything, man, to benefit us all. And then you free up space for somebody to be like, all right, man, what about our children? You know, our babies need some after school programs or something. Okay, well, you handle that. Oh, that's what's up. That's the benefits of a co-op, man.
Sure. Yep. And so we're seeing, like, with all this collective effort, within 3 years, we're able to bring up their membership to 450 members, with 139 paying in full the equity that they committed. So that's pretty good. We're seeing that the observers, Hope, noted that the elements of a strong co-op is willingness to donate time, or what he called volunteer gratuitous labor service by the members. The active committee structure was also a pillar of strength. He quoted one of the co-op leaders, Charles Beckett, on the functioning of the committees and the importance of shared leadership. And so Brother Beckett said, what little success we might claim has been due in very large degree to the strong committee activity in our buying club stage. There was no need for a leader. We were strong believers in the principle of division of labor. Mutual confidence and respect for our group techniques have been the life of our society. I don't think any person interested in cooperatives can possibly overemphasize this point. Bruh, that's real, bro. Like, if you don't have confidence and respect for the people that you're working with, like, it makes things a whole lot harder.
That's real, man. Gotta have respect when you see somebody working just as hard as you, man. That's the team effort, you know. It makes me think about basketball. You got a point guard, a center, small forward, you know, shooting guard, but they all do a little bit of everything else. They do a little bit of everything else, but they know their position, they know their part, and they hold it down and they command that position. And you know what I'm saying? Strength in numbers. We all know what that led to, back-to-back championships. That's a real formula. That's a real formula, and we see it laid out right here in the black print.
Sure.
You know, knowing what you good at, knowing what your position that you want to hold, sitting around with people, knowing you're not by yourself though, you're on a team, and we're moving forward. We're moving forward, and we have forethought. So, like we saw the education and the protection fund. That's man, cooperation is the way, man. The black print hits again.
Bruh, I'm upset because the government basically in 1997 told us that, like, the stuff that we were doing back in the day to move forward is something that will incur, like, legal liability for us now, right? And so, like, I guess this is something to think about. Like, if we choose to, like, create, let's say, a buying club where we're volunteering our time, if we're not considered owners, well, let me just say this: if we're creating a buying club, and we know that the federal government considers volunteering something that can't happen for our cooperative entity, then either we do it as a nonprofit, and then figure out all of the, like, legal landscape and requirements for that, or we do it anyway, and we just go about knowing that we have a bit of liability if someone who says they're for the movement but really isn't decides that they want to sue us for minimum wage. And so just like the People Consumers Cooperative, we can have that kind of protection fund and be like, yo, we'll just put a little bit aside just in case someone gets funky. We'll give them their money and tell them to go, right?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we could do that. Yeah, and then also, bro, I like to challenge this, man. We could be we can have surplus, so we can pay you above minimum wage. I feel like there's so much like disdain that we have for profitability in our community. Like, yes, the root of all evil can be money, but it also is greed and evilness and oppression and wanting to subjugate other people. But I feel like, having the right heart and the right mind and the right group, we can be profitable. There's profitability in our community. We don't really need, I was thinking about that today on my way over here, brother, that, what if we had like a Marcus Garvey grocery store? I was just thinking like, a co-op, and everything in there was like black yams and, you know what I'm saying, things that we like. Grandma like pig feet, you know what I'm saying, some vegan options. We wouldn't close the door to other people, other cultures. They would come spend money with us. So we wouldn't just be focusing on just the black dollar. Even though we can't survive off the black dollar, family, we're looking for profitability. So just like, we have the Hispanic stores in our community. Sometimes you might go in Gardeli's. You might go into the, the little corner store owned by the Arabs. Just supporting their we do it all the time. So if they can be surplus, being oppressive, and have, supporting bigotry, and we can have abundance of surplus, being holistic, being humble, being communal. There's a way, and we can pay above a minimum wage. We can pay living wage. It's just, the same thing that we think about with a co-op. It's not about, trickle down. It's not about making sure that the CEO, like say you is okay, I'm okay. It's about making sure we're all okay. So it's from the bagger, to the store clerk, to the janitor. Everybody's eating. I don't see nothing wrong with that, bro. So if they want to make us pay like that, the way we have to be profitable, so that we can work in the same buying club, the same legalities that we used to, it's shown there in the black print, bro. We've been profitable. Marcus Garvey was one of the most profitable movements today. Not just talking about black, on just not getting funded, not getting loans, on fundraising and having people put in what they can and maneuvering that. So we can do it, bro. I think we can do it, bro. And I just want us to not have no negativity with being rich.
Yeah.
We're born rich. Now it's time to manifest that and put that in everybody's pockets. Right. Let's put it in everybody's pockets. But yeah, we can get back to
it. Bro. I appreciate you. It's true, because like sometimes I'd be like, I derive richness and like abundance, because it's like I'm not trying to act like I'm like, I don't know. I guess I associate it with extraction, and it's like yes, I'm about that, but like that's not the first thing, right? It's like you got to dig deeper to get there.
Yeah, but we're tying richness with them. We've been Mansa Musa was the richest man. The sun is rich, the earth is rich. We were born. We tie these things to what we were taught, what we see. When they stole it from us, like they're copying. They came out of cave with no shoes on. Talking about you can cook meat. They didn't know they learned how to cook meat from us, family. They was eating dogs raw. So we turn around and we look at them because they've been holding, space. They've been holding space, and we tie richness and having a good life and not having to worry about and not having to struggle with whiteness and white oppression and white, subjugation. And that's totally false. That's the wrong way to do it. That's cancer. That's cancer. We see that as unchecked cancer. But we have to understand, as we go back into our own legacy, the black print, we've been doing this. The 1700s, we've been building our own businesses. Just because we want to build businesses don't mean that we're trying to be white. Just because we want to build a black street don't mean we want to duplicate white street, white Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? We got it in us. We just using this terminology that they taught us, but really it's about love. It's about Ma'at. It's about Sankofa. It's about Ashe. It's about Hotep. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we got that. I look at you, I see richness. I look at these twins, I see richness, bro. Now we just got to manifest it. This is where we at. Yeah. Nowhere in the Bible does it say that we need to be walking around with our hands out. Nowhere in none of the texts That's just what we reflect off of what we see.
Mm.
Now it's time. The ancestors are saying now it's time to show people the right way, brother. Show people how to be abundantly rich the right way, so we can take care of all the homeless. So we can we can get this domestic violence stuff out of our communities, because brothers and sisters are fighting. Most marriages break up over money. All this stuff is because of money. We can't eat because of money. People stress out because of money. Our kids don't have, because we're expecting the cancer to take care of us health wise. No, we have the knowledge, bro. The Black Print is showing us. Be rich, abundantly rich, King, and take care of our kingdom, take care of our queens, take care of our community the right way, because they ain't gonna do it. They never intended to. They fed our ancestors scraps and scrapes and leftovers, and we made delicacies out of them. Now it's time for us to take what we got and build empires out of them, and show them the right way how to be rich and share with the world and still love our culture. But yeah, I'm gonna get off my little black high horse.
Bro, I'm giving you space, bro, right around when you need it. You feel me? We're going to page 146 to wrap it up. So the end of chapter 6, talking about co-ops in the Great Depression, a time when in the Black community we saw the largest increase of cooperative activity, at a time when we were in great need and we came together like we always do in times of great need. We need to make it a habit and do it in times of abundance as well, as Tut was saying. And so Dr. Nimhard is saying that most of the co-ops of the period started with study groups and from small amounts of money pooled from members, with the working class members paying their share in installments. And so giving everyone an ability to get into the movement, have a financial stake in it, and manage it cooperatively. And so we're providing all kinds of resources for ourselves. Grocery stores and gas stations and credit unions were the most common co-op. And many struggle to raise capital, though we've seen examples of awesome abilities to raise capital as well. And so the co-op movement in the 1950s petered out. Dr. Nimhard is saying, with the few remaining efforts mostly clustered around small Black colleges in the South or in established communities in major cities. And so during the period, the Young Negro Cooperatives League and the Consumer Trading Co-op Association came out of a deep history of Black mutual aid and the self-help movement. And in the next chapters, we're going to be reading a lot about the women who, in this same period, like the 30s to the 50s, did a lot of amazing work. Queens like Helena Wilson, Nanny Helen Burroughs, and many others. And so at the bottom of the page, 146, saying that the Great Depression probably saw the rise of more African-American co-ops than any other period in U.S. history. The Black co-op movement developed from the same philosophy and spirit that inspired most cooperative movements, particularly those among the poor and the working class. It focused on the needs of the people who were left out of the market, who experienced market failure, and who were discriminated against in the market, enabling them to join together and create their own markets and their own enterprises. And so many Black people, like whites during the Great Depression, were destitute, jobless, and without access to affordable, quality gas, food, housing, and financial services. And so cooperative enterprises helped them gain access to these goods, help one another, and provide for their communities. And so cooperation appealed to the collective spirit and sometimes created a sense of optimism. And so Alethea Washington's descriptions of the cooperative movement conveys the philosophy and spirit of the African American cooperative, particularly during the 1930s. Washington said, "The cooperative movement offers a means where we can work together to solve economic problems. The co-op movement is based on the deep and abiding religious principles of honesty, justice, equality, brotherhood, and love. The co-op movement is an interfaith, interclass, and interrace. Therefore, it gives us the common meeting ground, which produces the best setting for working together." And so we're going to be reading chapter 7. I'm super grateful to Mia Akatsua, Hey Kanita, Ambitiously Imperfect, Healing Health Society, Aaron from East Oakland Grocery Co-op, for agreeing to do this thing with us and co-hosting with us next week, because we want to live by what we say. And we're talking about how women are important in the movement, and we also want to highlight like what the women who have been attending the book clubs have been up to, and it's some really amazing stuff. And we have to get their permission still to like tell you about it. Hopefully they will next week. But yeah, like it's going up, and man, I don't know what to say except get your rest over the weekend. Let's do this over again next week. Continuing to bring our focus. DM us if you got questions, because we love helping out. And super excited about, man, just hearing your ideas brings me more joy and excitement. And so, yeah, Ted, how you feeling?
Man, you said it all, brother. And yeah, I want to apologize if I had any war in my words earlier. It just gets me hot talking about these things, man. I love it. So passionate. And next week is gonna be about the Queen. So yeah, man. Oh, and everybody that's been reaching out through DMs with your ideas. Oh my God, there's so many beautiful things coming through. Just love to help any way we can help. You already know we're here. We're live on YouTube and Instagram, what you're watching right now. And yeah, bro, I think that's it, man.
Yeah, yeah. We're also ending the second the second payout of the Susu app, eSusu. So since I was first, I got it and it works. It just came straight in my account. It goes out straight to the account every 2 weeks. How's it been for you, Ted? It's been pretty easy and it's good.
Yes, yeah, it's working. It came out of my account twice.
Yeah.
So
we're doing it twice a month.
I get that notification. Yeah, for the 1st and the 15th. Yeah. So we're blessing each other, family. To do some good things with some fun, some coins.
Yeah, I think it's 600 that we're sharing amongst everyone. So for the 600 that I'm sharing, it's going toward a landing pad. Once we can get plane tickets, I'm out. I'm about to get that landing pad. You know what I mean?
Man, we were supposed to be going to Ghana already, family, but they can't stop nothing. We just gotta re-navigate and organize. But hopefully, some of y'all can